Today we will be talking about some industry and some enterprise applications for Casper. Now, I haven't talked about Casper much, but it is one of the token projects that I am beginning to get much more heavily interested in, as well as invested in as well. So, the X Frontier is probably my favorite Casper researcher, reporter on Twitter X now. So I want to highlight his thread here on how Casper can bring AI and b- blockchain applications to the very large industry of insurance. And I've also got some personal connections into the insurance industry as a whole. So the companies involved here, like Hartford, Travelers, I mean, huge organizations. So some companies using IBM Watson include the Hartford Financial Services Group, which is a U.S. insurance organization with 18,800 employees and 22.36 billion in annual top line income. That is massive. It is a massive industry. So it seems like IBM and Casper are likely working on AI solutions, which I haven't gone too deep into Casper yet, but they are primarily concentrating on large kinds of enterprise applications. There is a Casper Hartford GitHub that was archived by Robbie Gillis, who was a was a program manager at Casper in May of 2022. The CEO of Casper has said multiple times that they are working with a large U.S. insurance company. The pipeline that was presented in 2002, I don't know if that's 2002 or 2022, shows a U.S. insurance client as 80% complete. Although delays in NDA disclosures have been pushed back several times, he thinks we will have some information released in the near future. The AAIS, which is the American Association of Insurance Services, has a blockchain working group for property and casualty insurance as of 2019. Property and casualty is primarily things like home insurance, car insurance, and things like that. The AAIS is a trade organization that acts as an intermediary between its member insurance carriers and government regulators. As we probably all know, the insurance agency exists to the extent it does in large part because insurance is required in one way or another for pretty much everything in existence. So M. Ross Fisher, who is the EVP of PNC, the Hartford Financial Services, is on the board of directors for AAIS. Linux Foundation and AAIS launch OpenIDL in 2021. This is associated with IBM and Hyperledger as well, which, as we have talked about at a whole lot, those projects like XRP and XLM are heavily involved with IBM and the Hyperledger as well. So we have OpenIDL, which is an insurance-specific and permissioned DLT-based project building a network that harmonizes industry information and secures the sharing of it both efficiently and transparently. That's probably referring to transparency within the actual industry itself. So it sounds like it's a private chain, I guess, for lack of a better word. Members of this OpenIDL consortium include, of course, the Hartford, but also Travelers, huge organization. The Hanover and Selective Insurance. You have regulators and DOI members, infrastructure partners, associate members, and other nonprofit organizations, government agencies, and research and academic institutions. All of those right there are primary clients for these kinds of enterprise blockchain products like Casper. OpenIDL is built on Hyperledger Fabric. What we have seen is that Casper has been one of the chosen infrastructure to deploy hybrid networks with Hyperledger. It is hybrid because it ties into things like XLM and XRP, which then tie into other things, which tie in with XDC and all kinds of stuff. And it just interconnects everything at the very large volume that an infrastructure organization like IBM actually has. So we have 86% of global businesses prefer to deploy hybrid networks because it provides scalability and the data privacy compliance with things like GDPR and HIPPA, which is the so GDPR, I don't know what that one is. That is the General Data Protection Regulation, and HIPAA, of course, is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. I just didn't actually know what the acronym was. The Chief Technology Officer of Casper has said multiple hybrid deployments of household names to be expected soon. That was in 2022. Remember that the future of these technologies is an intricate web with various layers of complexity and indirect and direct usage and applications. So we have this link here from the Linux Foundation, the first open governance network and why it needs it. It just explains how it's interconnected. So we have things like home insurance, car insurance, and it includes all of the different providers of insurance here. You have all of your regulation entities here. So there's a lot there. So this is the GitHub from 2022. You've got Casper Labs Enterprise Customer Pipeline, major U.S. insurance company, and at that time it was 80% done. Now, how accurate that is, we won't know. AAIS launches blockchain working groups for property and casualty insurance in 2019. And to date, OpenIDL's member community includes Travelers, the Hartford, the Hanover, and it's built on Hyperledger. So all of this information is actually out there. Now, another thing that I want to highlight is how can AI and blockchain actually be involved in the overall insurance industry. So I use Google Bard for a lot of my AI kind of search information, just because it is tied into the, the internet now. Chat GPT is, but I don't think that's been rolled out to everyone yet, so it's a little bit more complicated. But we have Casper can bring AI and chain solutions in a number of ways. It can help develop more accurate and personalized risk assessments for insurance customers that can help reduce costs and offer more competitive premiums. It can help to assist in fraud detection as well, which in my opinion is probably one of the more immediately important things here, because insurance fraud is expensive, and if these companies don't have to pay out more for fraudulent things, then they are able to reduce the cost of our insurance as well. It'll help to process claims as well. Now, as far as chain things go, we have things like smart contracts for insurance policies, which will make that whole process a lot easier, and it can help to automate it as well. New products and services, yeah. So risk assessment, fraud detection, processing, contract sharing, and new products and services. So I think that the insurance as a whole, or the insurance industry as a whole, let's see how big the U.S. insurance industry is. So in the manufacturing market alone, how much is industrial insurance? Yeah, I would probably have to look more into it. But just for example, the market size of the manufacturing industry was 7.1 trillion. Yeah, I would probably have to go and compile some more information on that. But we're talking, U.S. insurance industry. No wonder. So the property casualty and direct insurance industry was worth $896.9 billion in 2022. That's almost 1 trillion right there. And if Casper is able to get even 10% of that, that's 100 billion of market value right there. Not that means that that would bring 100 billion of worth into Casper itself, but it has access into that large of an industry. So I will be talking about Casper more. I want to expand upon it a lot. So if you are interested in that, drop a comment and subscribe in order to keep up with all of the content.